This is Brian Miner, W540, and this is my individual presentation. First one I will be talking about is my PD plan. The first thing I did was I created a ECE World History curriculum for the local Plato content. This is the page of Plato, how it looks. And there's all the content courses. Second thing I did, I shared some tools with my staff, Google Forms and VoiceThread. Many of them did not know how to use that, and a lot of them started using the Google Forms, so I really helped them out. Also use Edmodo. This is a really simple way to communicate amongst educators and also with parents and students. And also started to use Skype. This is how I communicated with peers from other countries. I put a lesson of ancient Egypt on there, and I had a few takers that wanted to see the lesson and go over it with me, and one of them was from Honduras. That worked out pretty well. Also used Edmodo and Twitter to communicate with peers from other countries, and this was a pretty good way to get other ideas. Here's the Twitter. One of the many things I learned, one of the main things I learned from someone from another country was the mystery Skype. This was it's a simple idea. Classroom Skype, call each other, try to guess where the other classroom is located by giving clues. They did that one time. It was really fun. Also using Pinterest, I researched and found a bunch of ideas and a bunch of things I use in class for ECE. This one acronym, What's Your Material, was really good. The communication with parents, we started to use Edmodo, and that is right now I'm taking the main thing in our school. Is working really well, because a lot of times on our parent-teachers conferences, we rarely have kids that show up at my school, so the use of technology helps. The PD that I did was basically technology, how to use Plato in our online learning atmosphere. We're starting to really go strong at it this past semester, and every teacher will be on it come August. Majority of us are, but everyone will have to learn how to use it. It's just a lot of work, but it's worth it, because all the kids will be on our curriculum. The adult learning theory, well, that really helped me when I was putting together this PD, how adults really like to think and how I think. And then the PD beyond the school level, I wrote a letter to Miss Duncan, who represents Mutual, and she's on the JCPS school board. I was addressing the problems with Plato, students getting on websites they're not supposed to be on, by us trying to forward some programs, some spyware, to assist us in keeping the students on task by not getting on websites they're not supposed to be on. So that was the PD plan. This next one is the technology plan. Excuse me. So, technology plan had to do with description of my district's technology policies. Many of ours are about the same. Code of behavior. And my student population is really different. It's an alternative program for students who are exhibiting disruptive or misguided behaviors. These are all referred by the Office of Student Services, juvenile court, or state or county agencies. We really try to work on our behavior goals. We try to model appropriate behavior. So we're really trying to mutuals have them on the regular curriculum, not watered down, but also improving their behavior. Many times students come to us and it's all about behavior, but they still need to keep up with academics because when they go back, they could be on track. The resources, I have many resources at Mutual, but the main one that we're using now is the laptop computers. Many of the classrooms have smart boards, but now that we're on online learning, majority of us are just using laptop computers. We also use the smart boards for references. Some of the cons that we keep in contact with, laptop computers, some of the students damage the laptops and the headphones. Also the laptop, students are off task, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, listening to music most of the time. So that's why this software, to keep them off that, is very important. And the Play-Doh, one of the cons about the Play-Doh online learning system is the possibility of more students failing the online classes. Because if they're not asking questions, and I'm going around checking on them, but they're not, asking questions for themselves, it's hard for me to get anything out of them sometimes. So with this new software, hopefully I can type in something to send to their computers without everybody knowing, and they can send me something back. The adaptive assistive hardware, the portable laptops are really well. There's a reader on the Play-Doh program for the laptops. It helps the kids out that are having trouble reading, hard trouble understanding vocabulary words. Some of the classroom management strategies that work real well with me. Students, they come in, they get on the computer, they sign in, they log in on the same computer every day. Computers have numbers on them. The table has a number on it where they're sitting. At the end of the day, once they're finished, they sign off. They show it to me that they're signed off, and we sign out in the initial and make sure that just takes care of that. I know that they didn't have any damages to it, so that takes care of everything. There's also these computer lab rules that are posted, and also Play-Doh lab procedures. A lot of times the kid will take a test or a module test, and they say, "Well, I completed it. I've done it." I said, "Well, you have to have 70% or better. So you might complete it, but we gotta make sure that you passed it." So a lot of times they get frustrated with that. And then the WAN, just my STC, he's responsible for all the technical issues of Mutual and all the inventory. And for not a real big school, there's still a lot of work for one person. In my technology unit, here are some of the social studies standards that we dealt with. There are all the ISTE NETS standards. The first thing that we did was take the pre-assessment using the Google tools. Google form, and that worked out really well because they could send me the link and everything. Here's a little preview of it. One thing I did for my EC student, instead of 4 choices, he only had 3, and we lowered the questions down. The technology tools I use, Smartboard, come up. We worked together a little bit on that. Use of the internet. That's where the Play-Doh program was on, online resources. Also Google Forms, laptop, and the Skype. We used many resources that helped him out a lot. This one is digital history. It's how we created the timeline. And just little screenshots of each. Khan Academy works out really well. And plus the kids like it. Right, the new and innovative technology idea they use, Google Forms and also Skype. I also had this teacher from England that we hooked up with, and it was pretty cool. Those are the names of the websites we use. My unit dealt with World War II. As I said, at this time I had one student taking this class on the online learning. So we got to work together a lot. The first lesson with the pre-assessment, then the student was looking at some websites to help him learn more broad knowledge of the war before and after. And we also looked at some propaganda. It really helped him a lot, answer some questions that was in the test. On the second lesson, we did the digital history website. Had him come to Smartboard because it's bigger. And we helped him create a timeline. And he really enjoyed that. And also it helped him learn individual learning, helped him a lot. Lesson 4, I embedded a Khan Academy video about World War II. I also helped him on his questions, and you could also take notes off these. And lesson 5 was the post-assessment. I created one, and he also had to take one on the Play-Doh, which he passed as well. All right, diverse backgrounds. All of my students are in special education. Vast majority are African American. Most of my kids are EBD, emotional behavior disorder. I have a couple that are MMD, but most of them just behavior. But I really had to teach them how to take notes, how to listen, how to listen without being distracted. But these online learning really cuts down on behavior issues in the classroom. These are some of the adaptive assistive hardware I use. The reading tool really helps a lot in my class. The post-assessment, I use the Google Forms as well. Here's the link. There's what it looked like. So post-assessment student answered 13 out of 16 and did really well on that. So I want to thank you for your time and enjoy this class. Thank you.